is a collaboration between China and Malaysia. Not only that, this is a huge billion-dollar project.
Sir, this is it.
What's this?
Why is it so ugly?
Why is this building abandoned?
这什么鬼？
How in the world did this happen?
Roll the camera.
Forest City is a mega smart city development marketed as an eco-smart futuristic city in Iskandar Putri, Johor. It aims to attract international residents and investors. It includes residential, commercial, and tourism facilities. It was developed by the Country Garden Holdings and Iskandar Investment Berhad.
Now, what is the issue with Forest City? Forest City is experiencing environmental damage and negative impacts on local coastal ecosystems and fishing communities caused by large-scale land reclamation and development. The controversy includes claims of damage to seagrass meadows and mangroves, reduced fish catches for local fishermen, and criticism from environmental groups and media that the project harms sensitive coastal wetlands.
Here are some real evidence sources.
Now I'm going to talk about one of the main problems that exists in Forest City, which is poor stakeholders and community management. The developer did not properly involve or communicate with key local stakeholders, including fishermen, nearby residents, and environmental groups. This led to complaints about reduced fish catch and income losses among local residents. Forest City faced criticism due to insufficient consultation with local fishermen and residents prior to reclamation works. This created, number one, local protests and dissatisfaction. Second, loss of trust and negative public perception. And number three, risk to project legitimacy and reputation. This impacted the organization. For example, it affected the project's long-term acceptance and harms brand image, and it may also delay approvals or governmental support. It also discouraged potential investors and partners.
Forest City faced criticism for harming marine habitats and coastal ecosystems, indicating that environmental risks were not managed well. This created damage to seagrass and fish habitats. Moreover, scrutiny from government and environmental NGOs arise. What's more, high remediation and regulatory pressure occur. The impacts on the organization include weakens investor confidence, increases the chance of regulatory issues, and jeopardizes on future sustainability.
Next, the theory for problem 1 is the Mintzberg manager roles. Under the interpersonal category, the liaison role. So the Mintzberg manager roles explain what managers actually do in organizations, and under the interpersonal category, the liaison role, managers are required to build and maintain relationships with external stakeholders such as community, suppliers, and government agencies. So, how this explains the problem? So, Forest City actually failed in the liaison role as the managers did not properly consult or communicate with local fishing community before starting reclamation works. This lack of relationship building caused loss of community trust, public criticism, and damage to organizational reputation. What does this reflect about the organization? So, Forest City's issue shows a weakness in external stakeholder management and communication, demonstrating a failure in key manager responsibility, which is required to gain public support and long-term project legitimacy. So why does this theory help? This theory helps us understand that effective managers must communicate and collaborate with external stakeholders to build trust.
The second theory is the system perspective. Let's do a quick overview. System perspective views an organization as a larger interconnected system where the internal and the external elements can influence each other. Therefore, managers must consider how their organization may affect the community and the ecosystem. Now, before we move on forward, let's do a recap on the problem. Forest City has failed to understand nor manage this system This has negatively impacted the marine habitats, the local fish population, fishermen's livelihoods, as well as the environmental regulations. Therefore, the reflection that we can do is that Forest City lacks a system thinking approach where they have failed to consider the environmental and the social elements. This has led to backlash, long-term risks, as well as sustainability issues. How can system perspective be beneficial and helpful to solve the problem that Forest City is currently facing? System perspective highlights the importance of the communication between the internal and the external elements to ensure sustainability regulations.
So now moving on to our solution 1, we think that improving stakeholder engagement is one of the actions that can be taken. Stakeholder engagement can be improved by establishing a community advisory panel that represents fishermen, local residents, and NGOs. Local NGOs can conduct dialogue and consultation sessions before and during project activities. Furthermore, the management of Forest City can provide compensation, job training, and livelihood support for those affected by the development. To link this solution to management theory, we can link this to Mintzberg's liaison role, where managers must build and maintain strong external relationships. By actively engaging the community, the management fulfills the liaison role by creating open communication channels, building trust and collaboration, and ensuring local concerns influence decisions. To justify our solution, we believe that this solution strengthens Forest City's relationship with the community and rebuilds trust and ensures long-term acceptance of the project. Better stakeholder engagement also reduces conflicts and prevents reputational damage.
The next solution is to strengthen environmental planning and monitoring in Forest City. First, the organization should conduct an independent environmental impact audit to identify the real effects of development on the surrounding ecosystem. Next, it should implement continuous marine ecosystem monitoring system, including tracking water qualities and habitat health to detect changes early. In addition, Forest City should develop an adaptive environmental management plan that updates its actions based on monitoring data and ecological feedback. This solution is linked to the system perspective, which states that an organization must recognize and manage its impacts within the wider ecosystem. By adopting a system perspective, Forest City will understand how development affects marine life, fishermen, and local biodiversity, adjust strategies proactively based on the environmental data collected, and protects its long-term sustainability and ensure compliance with environmental regulation. This approach ensures environment protection, supports sustainable development goals, and improves community confidence. It reduces long-term environmental risk, avoids regulatory penalties, and supports responsible and sustainable development for Forest City. In conclusion, Forest City's main issues come from weak stakeholder communication and lack of attention to environmental impacts. Using Mintzberg's liaison role, it is clear that the projects need stronger engagement with local communities. And through systems theory, we see the importance of considering how development affects the environment and society together. By improving community consultation and strengthening environmental monitoring, Forest City can rebuild trust, protect ecosystems, and support long-term sustainable development. Thank you, that's all from us.
Roll the camera. Mia.
Yes. Alfred, try to say what is this? Wait.
Is this?
Okay.
Okay.
You say what is this?
Okay.
The millennial pause.